Going on YouTube family. Yeah, this is gonna be a little different. So I told y'all before that I wasn't just gonna do strictly instructional fight content. I was gonna start doing podcasting. Problem is, people are scary. It's so funny. The longer I'm in this like social media space, I see the crazy hypocrisy of people. Everybody got some shit to say until it's time to actually talk their shit. Then nobody wants to be on camera. So I figured since I'm not getting any guests or people like even friends in my own life who want to like talk their shit, I'll just do it myself. Today's story is going to be kind of heavy, so I want y'all to buckle up with me because I'm gonna be getting really real with y'all. Before I get into that, I want to put this out into the ether that if there's anybody who knows how to make digital logos, I need somebody who can digitize that logo. And you know, if you got experience, let me know. So today's story is going to be about one of the worst violent street fighting incidents that ever happened to me in my life. I was about 14, 15. This was like just before I became emancipated as an adult. And I was in this semi independent living situation, group home of sorts. And I had been at this program for maybe like a couple months, almost like half a year. And there was these 3 boys from Baltimore. I've never really had good relationships with people from Baltimore. I don't know what it is. It goes like Jamaican guys, Baltimore dudes, and like maybe just some other type of island. I just think the island guys just don't like me. So one of the boys, he was bigger than me, like he was. But I remember our first interaction was wild. And you know when people tell you you get a vibe about somebody, like when I first met this cat, like we didn't even have an interaction. He just was like he had walked into the building and like the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. He had like this very predatory shark like look in his eyes. Like you just kind of knew he was just a little bit too. I don't want to say he was a killer or he was a predator, but it was just like if you get an altercation with this cat, you were probably one of y'all was gonna have to DIE. The first time I ever actually spoke to him, it was when he was watching the UFC fight, and I was walking into the house. I think I was coming out from somewhere, whatever, and I say, "Oh, was that you like that?" I think they were actually like, I was like, "Oh, you like that stuff? Me too." He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, I like that too, son." And he was like, "I'm not your son." And it was weird because at that time in my life, calling somebody son, even in Baltimore, I'm pretty sure dog, son, my boy, like those are regular terms. So it kind of struck me as weird that he had such a problem with it. But I threw it off as like, oh, well, whatever. Like, still hairs on the back of my neck are up. And I'm like, what's going on here? Fast forward a couple weeks, we are playing a basketball game. And I'm telling you all this because this leads up to the altercation. It's very important because I want you to understand what happened and why it's like so prevalent in my mind. We were playing a basketball game, and like when you go up for a rebound, you might bump into somebody. Now, I think that when I went up, my elbow clipped his mouth. It wasn't purposeful, but I can see how that might trigger somebody. Because like as soon as I come down, I'm like, I'm apologizing profusely, like, "Oh, my bad, dog. Let me go get you a towel. Let me go get you some ice or something like that." He turns around. I don't see his face. He's wiping his mouth. But then, like you kind of smell a thunderstorm. You kind of smell a lightning strike before it actually hits. And that's what kind of happened. And he turns and he launches the basketball at me and then starts chasing me down. Like I run. Like it was a crazy situation. Like I ran, I booked it, and one of the counselors uh had to like grab him and stop him because he was coming after me. I think it was really an instance where he just wanted to get after me. Like it was no rhyme or reason for it. He just wanted a reason to come after me, and that was like, oh, it triggered. It gave him every reason. Fast forward like another week or so, um, and that we I want you to understand like there were two other guys, but they didn't like me, but they really didn't show their true colors towards me until he got there. You know, like he was like their Trump. His size and his willingness to just show how much he didn't like me bolstered them into now being like, yeah, we really don't fuck with this cat. They were both from Baltimore. It was crazy. And I'm telling you this because I never did anything to these cats. They just simply did not like me. So fast forward another week, is crazy because we had this cool counselor. His name was, I'm not going to use his real name. I'm going to say his name was Jerry. It's not Jerry, but I'm going to call him Jerry. But Jerry was cool as shit. Jerry was also from Baltimore, but he was an older cat, and Jerry always got me hip to game in life, and I really appreciated him for that. I don't know what he's doing today, but if he ever sees this, hey, if you remember me, let me know what's up. But like I said, fast forward like a week, maybe some change later. Um, I'm kind of in a situation where I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is obviously a situation where I'm getting bullied, and I don't like it. So, I'm just gonna keep my head on a swivel, and I'm just gonna wait it out. Maybe he'll get tired of it or whatever, whatever. This is also an instance where I tell y'all, like, you gotta stand up to bullies. Like it doesn't stop. If you start running once, they'll never let you stop. Sooner or later you gotta turn around and you gotta take whatever's coming that way, whether it's an ass whooping or death, or they stop finally. But I digress. I'm washing clothes, and they take this as the opportunity because it's like nighttime. Like the staff is only down to like one night staff person, and I go downstairs to the basement to start washing my clothes, and they book it downstairs. It's like boom, they book it downstairs. Um, and I know this is a situation where I'm gonna have to fight my way out of it. I just don't know how I'm gonna do it. And that they gave this excuse that still sticks in my head to this day, where it just didn't make sense. No one was around to hear them give this excuse about why they were jumping me. So I don't understand why they felt the need to say it. I don't know if it was like a weird justification so that they could feel like they're doing it for the right reason. I don't know. But the excuse they gave me was, oh yeah, we heard you was ratting on Jerry. I'm like, okay, y'all know that's a damn lie. Like y'all know there's like, if we just gonna do this, let's just do this. Like there's no reason for you to make this protagonist villain type story. Like you just want to jump me, let's get this over with. So yeah, they jumped me, and they jumped me bad. They jumped me real bad. And it wasn't even like the two of them didn't even really matter. It was the one kid. He comes at me with this big sweeping, he loved this right hook, and he gets me. He doesn't get me with the hook, but he gets me like gets my hands up, and the other two are like throwing imagine like little pot shots. They're trying to get in, but he's the main threat. And I just remember him getting me into a rear naked choke, and my jujitsu was non-existent at this point in my life. So the only way I can describe this is like the only way I blacked out. I was going to I there was a moment where I realized I came to the realization I'm about to die. This kid is about to kill me, and there's nothing I can do about it because I legit blacked out. I remember being in a warm place, feeling extremely safe, and like it wasn't even black around me. It was like lots of bright pink. Like my vision was just bright pink. And then later on I realized at some point he had let me go, and air got back to my brain, and it was like it just shocked the shit out of me. And I don't know, for some reason I just screamed, and I screamed there was the staff member, his name, I'm gonna call him Terry. I just screamed, Terry! And they get so startled that they jump up and they all run upstairs. You would think that's where the end of the story is, but it's not, because I'm so bullheaded that I get pissed and I run upstairs and I'm after them. I'm like, it's not over. It's not over. Like I'm not thinking clearly because I'm so upset. I don't remember if I was upset because I felt like they took away my power. I don't know if I was upset because my face was fucked up. They definitely fucked my face up. But I think it was a culmination of all those things. I just felt so helpless at that moment. I was like, if I die, I don't fucking care. I'm taking one of you with me. I'm taking all of you with me if I can, but I gotta get it back in blood. And I did not care about my safety or my life. I didn't care about tomorrow. I didn't care about the next 15 minutes after the fight was done. I just cared about trying to get back the power that was taken from me. And it was crazy because I go straight at the one kid and he throws another looping right hook. I don't know if I had the skills I had now. I trust and believe. I think about that night almost weekly, and I think about if I had the skills I had now back then, how many things I would have done differently. Like I think about catching his arm and like stopping it and sweeping him off his leg, or like double leg tackle. I think of all the crazy shit I do now that I could do 5 years ago that I would do to him that night, and it still eats away at me. It eats away at my mental. I still feel, and every time I think about it, I'm not gonna lie, I feel as powerless as I felt back then. It's something that I've worked through in therapy, is something that I've worked through repetitively, but I'm not going to lie to you. There are times where it still eats away at me in my soul to the point that I just want to scream and rage. And getting back to the story, he ended up getting kicked out because like during our second altercation that night, where I went upstairs and I stupidly, went to go confront them, he got tired of the fact that he kept hitting me, but I wouldn't go down. And it was so crazy. Like I've always had this ability. No matter how many times you punch me, I'm not gonna go down. You're never gonna be able to knock me out. Thank you, mama, for the hard head. But I digress. He tackled me. I was on top of like somebody else's bed, and he's holding me by my throat, and he's like, and he pulls a knife out. And this is where another instance I was just like, I don't think it registered till later on because I didn't care. Again, I was bloodlust, and I was like, I don't fucking care. I'm ready to die right now. And he was just like, I'm sick of fighting. I'm sick of fighting this bitch ass. Like, it was in that moment, like later on, I realized like if he had just decided to stab me up, I was dead. It was another instance where it was just like I almost died twice in one night. It's crazy. But this is where it comes into play, where I tell people all the time, this is why I take training so seriously. This is why I take self-defense training for myself and others so seriously, because I wasn't looking for trouble. I was literally living my life, washing my clothes, when these three boys decided that tonight was the night that they were going to try to take my power from me and or kill me. And I didn't do anything like to deserve it. I just was living my life. And I trained so hard to this day because I never, no matter what the threat is, I don't care if it's 1v100, I never want to be in a situation where I am that powerless ever again. I never want to be in a situation where the whether or not I live or die or see another sunrise, moonrise, or see the smile on one of my loved ones' faces again is dependent on another person being gracious enough to let me live. I can't ever do that again. That is why I train so hard. And this is why I stress to all of you out there, learn self-defense, because the scars, the mental scars, they heal over, but they never go away. I'll never be rid of that. I'll never be rid of how that made me feel. I'll never be completely healed mentally of the way that I felt when they took that power from me, when I was as helpless as I was. I train hard as I can now. I know I can protect myself. I don't walk around in the world afraid, but I do walk around with those scars, with those demons mentally, and it pushes me to do insane things. So if you have never been attacked, or if maybe it wasn't as vicious as that, but it's on your mind, please, I beg you, go to self-defense classes. Take them very seriously, because I don't ever want to see anyone I care about, you all, even if I don't know you personally, I don't ever want you to be in that situation where you feel that helpless ever again. Um, Again, I'm going to be doing more talks like this because I think it's important for us to be transparent with each other. I think it's important for me to let y'all know more about me and where I'm coming from, because I feel like a lot of people will watch my channel and be like, where did this guy come from? Why does he do what he does? Why does he know what he knows? Like things like that. And I want y'all to understand that this is coming from a place of, you know, I've been powerless. I've been helpless. Like even as I'm sitting here right now, um, I'm fighting back tears because this shit is real to me. It's shit. My bad. Please take care of yourselves. Like do the work, do the shadow work, go to therapy, but also learn how to protect yourselves. It is men and women. It is very serious. All right. I gotta go, y'all. I'm sorry. Coach Anthony.